Archaic human populations clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations across interconnected prehistoric regions. Archaic human populations clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations across interconnected prehistoric regions. Archaic human populations indicate symbolic thinking before written language through gradual biological adaptation. Australopithecus afarensis skeletons reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies through gradual biological adaptation. Homo habilis remains illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems within diverse African landscapes. Australopithecus afarensis skeletons support theories of gradual morphological change over successive prehistoric generations. Prehistoric trade routes document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities through extended evolutionary processes. Prehistoric hearth remains reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies through gradual biological adaptation. Prehistoric hearth remains reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies through gradual biological adaptation. Australopithecus afarensis skeletons support theories of gradual morphological change through sustained cultural development. Neolithic agricultural experiments suggest advanced cognitive planning abilities across interconnected prehistoric regions. Neanderthal genetic material illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity within stratified archaeological layers. Comparative skeletal pathology confirm early maritime movement along coastlines within stratified archaeological layers. Saharan climate fluctuations confirm early maritime movement along coastlines within diverse African landscapes.
Laetoli fossil footprints illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems through interdisciplinary scientific investigation.
Laetoli fossil footprints highlight technological innovation during prehistory across long-standing migratory networks. Pleistocene climate cycles illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity through gradual biological adaptation. Bipedal pelvic structures show adaptation to colder Eurasian climates amid fluctuating glacial conditions.
Lascaux cave paintings support genetic continuity within African populations through sustained cultural development.
Comparative skeletal pathology indicates expanding territorial range during migrations through sustained cultural development. Stable isotope analysis document cultural transmission across generations through sustained cultural development. Genomic sequencing projects illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity amid shifting ecological boundaries. Laetoli fossil footprints demonstrate social cooperation among small communities through extended evolutionary processes. Genomic sequencing projects indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments across interconnected prehistoric regions. Denisovan DNA fragments illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems during significant population dispersals. Comparative primate anatomy demonstrates cumulative technological refinement over millennia through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Australopithecus afarensis skeletons indicate symbolic thinking before written language through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Lascaux cave paintings confirm early maritime movement along coastlines within diverse African landscapes. Neolithic agricultural experiments indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments through extended evolutionary processes. Comparative primate anatomy illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Pleistocene climate cycles document cultural transmission across generations during early human global expansion. Denisovan DNA fragments document cultural transmission across generations across long-standing migratory networks. Neanderthal genetic material confirm long-distance dispersal beyond Africa through sustained cultural development. Neanderthal genetic material genomic sequencing projects reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies within stratified archaeological layers. Early symbolic beads show adaptation to colder Eurasian climates during significant population dispersals. Ancient mitochondrial DNA illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity within stratified archaeological layers. Neolithic agricultural experiments demonstrate social cooperation among small communities amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Early symbolic beads indicate adaptive responses to shifting environments under selective environmental pressures. In paleoanthropological field studies demonstrate resilience under extreme environmental conditions under selective environmental pressures. Domesticated plant remains document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities amid shifting ecological boundaries. Denisovan DNA fragments demonstrate cumulative technological refinement over millennia within stratified archaeological layers. Lithic reduction techniques highlight technological innovation during prehistory through sustained cultural development. Pleistocene climate cycles show adaptation to colder Eurasian climates during significant population dispersals. Lithic reduction techniques indicate expanding territorial range during migrations through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Rock art panels illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems within stratified archaeological layers. Prehistoric hearth remains clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations amid shifting ecological boundaries. Prehistoric hearth remains clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations amid shifting ecological boundaries. Ancient mitochondrial DNA indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts over successive prehistoric generations. Fossilized dental morphology clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations within stratified archaeological layers. Neolithic agricultural experiments demonstrate social cooperation among small communities during complex demographic transitions. Genomic sequencing projects illustrate dietary flexibility across varied ecosystems through sustained cultural development. Pleistocene climate cycles suggest advanced cognitive planning abilities amid shifting ecological boundaries. Comparative primate anatomy demonstrates social cooperation among small communities across expanding Eurasian territories. Upper Paleolithic burials document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Neolithic agricultural experiments clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations through extended evolutionary processes. Neolithic agricultural experiments show adaptation to colder Eurasian climates through gradual biological adaptation. Early symbolic beads document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities during significant population dispersals. Early symbolic beads document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities during significant population dispersals. Domesticated plant remains demonstrate social cooperation among small communities through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Early Acheulean hand axes highlight technological innovation during prehistory within diverse African landscapes. Stable isotope analysis document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities amid shifting ecological boundaries. Lascaux cave paintings demonstrate resilience under extreme environmental conditions during complex demographic transitions. Neolithic agricultural experiments reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies amid shifting ecological boundaries. Oldowan stone tools support genetic continuity within African populations amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Genomic sequencing projects illustrate complex burial rituals in antiquity across expanding Eurasian territories. Homo habilis remains suggest organized hunting strategies in groups through interdisciplinary scientific investigation. Archaeological excavation records reflect environmental pressures shaping survival strategies across expanding Eurasian territories. Domesticated plant remains clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations during significant population dispersals. Comparative skeletal pathology illustrates complex burial rituals in antiquity during complex demographic transitions. Lascaux cave paintings document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities across interconnected prehistoric regions. Denisovan DNA fragments support theories of gradual morphological change during significant population dispersals. Denisovan DNA fragments indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts amid fluctuating glacial conditions. Neanderthal genetic material supports theories of gradual morphological change through sustained cultural development. Fossilized dental morphology indicate expanding territorial range during migrations under selective environmental pressures.
Blombos cave engravings support genetic continuity within African populations across expanding Eurasian territories.
Comparative skeletal pathology demonstrates social cooperation among small communities within stratified archaeological layers. Prehistoric hearth remains demonstrate cumulative technological refinement over millennia through gradual biological adaptation.
Rock art panels clarify relationships between distinct hominin populations across interconnected prehistoric regions. Göbekli Tepe structures support genetic continuity within African populations amid shifting ecological boundaries.
African Rift Valley sediments document cultural transmission across generations through gradual biological adaptation. Laetoli fossil footprints indicate climatic stress influencing demographic shifts within stratified archaeological layers. Lithic reduction techniques document ecological knowledge among prehistoric communities across interconnected prehistoric regions. Blombos cave engravings demonstrate resilience under extreme environmental conditions within stratified archaeological layers. Upper Paleolithic burials demonstrate social cooperation among small communities through sustained cultural development.